Welcome back to the Run Home. You're with Fletch and Missile this afternoon. 20 minutes to go, Fletch. Let's finish strong with a really strong guest. Let's giddy up with Gareth Hall. That's on Monday to Thursday, 8 a.m, and he's joining us on the show now, Fletch. Gareth, welcome.
G'day, Missile, Fletch. Great to be with you.
Now, we hear that you're delving into the rugby league world with some of the guests on your show. Did you have Gus Gould on? What's doing there?
Yeah, we had Gus, boys. We forgot to ask him the most important question. We just asked a couple of questions about racing. He's got a few horses, Gus. He doesn't mind a punt, and we had a good yarn to him. So Dean Watling, that's on your show.
Oh,
I think
yes.
he's good mates with Gus, yeah. And Dino gave Gus a text and said, mate, we need you on the show to talk about your first starter there yesterday at Canterbury. And I think she went no good. So, no, but he was good, Gus. He loves his horse racing. So, yeah, he was good.
Fitting that his horse is racing at Canterbury, isn't it?
What? Yes.
Hey, Gareth, what was his other one? He had was it Tycoon something? What was his?
Yeah, he's had a few horses. He's got a couple of well-bred gallopers now with some of the big stables.
Yeah.
I don't think he's had a champion, but he's had some good horses that have competed in town. And I think this one that raced yesterday's got ability. It just wasn't. It wasn't that Galloper's day. It's by I'm Invincible out of English. He was a superstar there, so it would have cost a bit. So yeah.
Did he talk about the Catbird victory? I think it was a slipper in, I'd say, 99 when he backed it at he backed it at like 70s. Like when the early nominations, and we were playing the Warriors over there, and it happened to coincide with. So we were sitting, and we knew he was on. I think he had about $3 or $4 grand on it at 70s.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting in there about to get on the bus to the game. And it's saluted on the outside. And we just we all went mad. And he was so casual about it. He goes, mate, we've got a game to win. Because we were, in the hotel, the doors were open. We're all going, because we all backed it as well. And he was just that calm, cool, and collected.
Really?
Yeah.
It's 70s.
Yeah, a huge amount. And then he goes, boys, if you win tonight, I'll take his out. So we went, boom. We flogged him.
I love that.
Nah, there's heaps of good stories in the rugby league. I lived with a couple of boys from Manly when I was at Sky Racing, and they had a big collect one day, and then Mad Monday, I think it was 100 to 1. I think it was 50 Stewart's horse.
Yeah, good that.
I've heard about this. Scope was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hozza backed it. Yeah. Those are the good old days.
Anyway, well, what have we got coming up, mate? What do you want to chat about?
Big racing.
Yeah.
There was some big stories today, boys. Jamie Carr, superstar jockey, she faced an inquiry today. She was charged by the Victorian stewards for a ride a few weeks back in the McNeil Stakes for not giving her horse every possible chance, basically. So it was a serious charge. So she faced the Victorian Racing Tribunal today, and she was found guilty.
Whoa.
So she was found guilty for failing to take all reasonable and permissible steps to improve her position on Let's Face the Music. Now, the stewards, after being found guilty, the stewards said that they applied for a 6-week minimum suspension for the tribunal to hand down the penalty to Jamie. And in the end, the tribunal only handed down a 3-week suspension, which is so she's pretty lucky, I reckon, Jamie Carr. So she misses. She rides this Saturday, then starts her suspension, or Saturday week, I should say. So starts the 3-week suspension end of September and comes back after Caulfield Cup Day. So she misses the Caulfield Cup Carnival basically in Turnbull Stakes, but after being found guilty of that charge and only getting 3 weeks.
It's heavy.
I reckon she's pretty lucky.
Hey, Gareth, with the stewards, is it like the? I don't know how it works in the AFL, but in the NRL, if you have previous similar charges, they sort of put a loading on. Is it the same?
Yeah.
Is it the same with jockeys? If you're of the same offence, if you get found guilty of the same offence, do they add a loading to it?
Well, I think for some cases, like if, for instance, if you continue to get fined for overuse of the whip, it builds up, and then all of a sudden they go, well, if we're sick of fining you, you're going to get a couple of weeks. And every time you get, then you breach the whip rules, the suspension goes up. For a charge like that, it's such a serious charge, the stewards don't deal with it. It goes straight in Victoria, it goes straight to the Victorian Racing Tribunal. So they just treat that charge on its merit. And usually, as the stewards point out, it's a minimum 6 weeks, so she's only got 3 weeks. So she's got I reckon she's a bit lucky to only
Would
get
that
to
have
3
been
weeks.
trainers or owners, or who would have made that accusation, or are they just watching every race, every jockey?
No, it's a Missile was a big race in a McNeil Stakes, so there was a gap there that she should have took, and it was long enough for her to take the gap, and it was big enough for her to take that gap, and she just didn't do it. And she wasn't feeling well on that day, and she wasn't riding at her best, and she admitted that the gap was there, but she blamed the horse for locking its jaw, so it was difficult to ride. And it was a real windy day in Melbourne that day at Caulfield. And she said the couple of horses in front of her were being affected by the wind wobbling around, so she didn't feel safe to take that run. But the stewards and the Victorian Tribunal said the run was there. You should have taken it, and she didn't. And so she was charged and then found guilty. And usually, as I said, like 6 weeks minimum, the stewards would expect for someone to be found guilty of that charge to face that penalty, and she's only been given 3.
That's fascinating. Does that happen often?
Yeah, that's interesting. No, this would probably be the first case I've seen this for a little while for a charge like that. But I think it's good. Like at the end of the day, maybe, I don't know, she's good for the game, Jamie Carr. She transcends the sport, and you don't want your stars missing out on a Spring Carnival. And they would have taken all of the evidence in the Victorian Racing Tribunal. And because it is the Spring Carnival with so much prize money up for grabs, that could have been one of the reasons where they thought, all right, then she's going to miss some big money races, including Everest Day. She might have had a ride in the Everest, like with a filly like Hayasugi. So it's going to cost her a lot of money. So we'll give her 3 weeks, and that's enough, basically.
Now, Gareth, we need some winners for Saturday because your Manly Seagulls will get pumped on Saturday night.
Yeah, they will. I think
you're not supposed to say that.
No, because I love the Manly Seagulls, but we're busted, basically. I don't think we can't go a yard.
No, you go right.
If the vet was looking at us, I don't think we'd be starting getting to the gates.
No, there's a few of them.
You never know.
There's a few of them trotting up lane. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yes, but you never know. So I'll tell you what we bet. There's a couple of good chances there on Saturday at Randwick in the shorts. I like IME. I think it'll run a big race. She was pretty impressive to win the Concord the other day. And it sets up nicely for her. Fangirl's a good thing in the 7 stakes. Small field, she'll get back, and I think she'll finish over the top of them. And I think Autumn Glow will be winning as well. It's a J-Max. So I think if you multi-tool J-Max up Autumn Glow into Fangirl, you'll be getting the cash there. And there's a horse in race number 5, and each way price, Elias, so I think you can play the win for Waterhouse and Bott. I think he'll be too strong. He's a stayer on the up, so I think you can play him. And then at Caulfield, I like a couple at a price in a Caulfield Guineas Prelude. I think that you can have something each way on Public Attention at $18 and a horse by the name of Sergeant Major around $9.50. I think you can have something each way on those 2 gallopers. And there's a horse called Place to Carousel. Back her to win the Underwood on Saturday first up. She's in the Yulong colours. And then I reckon have something on her to win the Caulfield Cup, and then have something on her to win the Melbourne Cup as well.
There we go.
Speaking of Melbourne Cup,
she's a good mare.
We had Bossy in here. We had Glenn Bossy in last week. What a champion.
Yeah, I listened. I listened to it. It was excellent.
Far out.
I love his story. And I think we posted on the socials about Black Caviar.
Yeah.
It was sensational.
Yeah. He goes, what's that? It's funny. It's funny. It's funny how like they can just get on the horse, because he's talking about Maccabi Diva when he just got on the horse and he just felt instantly different. Really? I found that like fascinating how he just got a good. I said, what was it? He goes, I don't know. It was just like a gut feel.
Wow.
He was such a big time player, Bossy. Like on the big stage, like he never made a mistake with Maccabi Diva in the Melbourne Cup, and they were like peaches, like 11 out of 10. And the only time he told me, I don't know if he told you this story, was he's nervous for the Cox Plate when she was competing in a Cox Plate, and he said he couldn't sleep, and then he had to go into the jockey's room at the Valley, and he had to look himself in the mirror and go, gee, boss, you're the best in the business. You got this covered. He had to psych himself before he jumped aboard that mare. And that was the race where there was 8 across the track.
Yeah.
At the school at the 600 metre mark, and away she went. But No, he's good talent, Bossy. I enjoyed it. So
he's a beauty. All right, what about the AFL? Give me a couple of winners this week. Who do you like?
Do you know what? The Sydney Swans play Friday night,
Yep.
and they take on Port Adelaide. Now, Port Adelaide just got home against Hawthorn. They were smashed in the first week of the finals by Geelong. But the last time Sydney played Port Adelaide, they got smashed by 100-odd points, 150-odd points. And they didn't score a point. And Port Adelaide had about 75 points on the board. It was extraordinary to watch. And they were on top of the ladder at that time, Sydney, a few weeks back. They haven't beaten Port Adelaide the last 8 times they've played.
Yeah.
So they're the outsiders, the Power. I give them a big chance against Sydney. I want Sydney to win, but I think Power, they're a dangerous side for the Sydney Swans. And then on Saturday, twilight in Melbourne, I think Brisbane will be far too strong for Geelong, and they're the outsiders as well. They were too good for the Giants last week, and I reckon Brisbane are the best side in it. So, I reckon the Lions will win, Fletch.
All right.
I reckon we can have that multi.
And we've got Katy Perry. Oh, yes. I love Katy Perry.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Because I said to my kids, I said, Katy Perry or Kid Leroy? And they said, Katy Perry all day.
Yeah, same.
She's singing the grand final, isn't she? At the end?
She's down there. But we've got Kid Leroy, who's the grouse.
What's your favourite race day in Sydney? Is it the Everest?
Everest.
Yeah. Have you got an early tip for Everest? I've got a mate whose horse has been in there the last 2 years. Should be there again. Overpass.
Who's that?
Overpass.
I don't know. I don't know if he'll get a start missile.
Well,
Or you know something I don't know.
I may know something you don't know.
All right, that'd be a good exclusive then. Because he got the slot with the ATC. I think the ATC are trying to sell their slot for him. I don't know if they got the money to buy that slot. So
I think there's been some inquiries after it waltzed home in the Quokka off the back of the Everest last year and has trialled pretty well. So there's been some interest, but I think they'll just it always goes really good first up, and I think they basically built the whole preparation about going straight into Everest this year.
Hey, Gareth,
so they go.
Oh, sorry, mate. No, you go.
No, sorry. I said it goes to the Everest or the Sydney Stakes, so it's a good chance either way. But it was disappointing last time.
It was, right into the rails.
I was going to ask you, Bella Nipotina, is she run this week?
Yeah.
Where?
She's around in the Premier Stakes. I think at the end of September at the Premier Stakes in Sydney at Randwick.
Oh, okay.
So it must be 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Saturday. She'll be hard to beat if there's rain around. She's got a slot. I like Traffic Warden and I Wish I Win for the Everest.
Okay. No, I thought
put Blizzard on I Wish I Win, and
I thought Bella was running around this weekend, but she's not. Did you say?
No. They decided not to. They got the stablemate on.
Yeah.
In the short. So she's got a slot now. They don't have to prove. They don't have to prove the slot. I would say she'll be tacked up. They've got a beach property, Kieran Mark, there at Newcastle. So she just enjoys beach life. She'll come down running the Premier, then back for the Everest.
Oh, can I do that?
Who doesn't do? Oh,
you do that.
You do that. I see you down North Bondi, just walking around your budgies, big pink budgies. Gareth, he walks around. He gets on the promenade. He's all oiled up, and he wears these rank like Oakley mirrored sunnies. So I know exactly where he's looking. He's a mad mort starer. He's in good nick.
Missile would be the pick of the yard.
I'd be backing him now.
Stop it.
Yeah.
All righty, thanks for joining us, Gareth. Have a good weekend
boys.
on the park.
Thanks, Gareth. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.